let's go ahead and pipe our Paris-Brest. Now I already have my choux pastry dough prepared, and that's exactly the same one that we used for our eclairs and choux buns, and you can check out the video of how to master your vegan choux pastry linked in your dashboard. Now I have here a nice large tray, and I'm just going to line it with some baking paper. And on top of that, I'm using one of these air mats. Now, these air mats are fantastic. It's going to give you a nice even bake to your choux pastry. And because it has all of these little holes, you get a lot of circulation of the air and the heat, so it's going to dry it out and cook it evenly. So I'm just going to pop that straight on top of my baking paper. So you just want to pop some oil down, just a little bit on your silicone mat, just to ensure that the Paris-Brest is not going to stick. So to give myself a guide, what I like to do is grab one of these pastry cutters, and this one here is 88 millimeters, but something between like 9 centimeters, 10 centimeters is completely fine. So between 88 and 100 millimeters. So, and I've just got a bowl here of some flour, and I just want to dip it into my flour, and then we can stamp it onto our tray. And that will give us an indentation for our Paris-Brest. And so we have a guide of where to pipe. So now we can start piping. So the same with our eclairs, the same with the Paris-Brest, we want to make sure that we have some good pressure and control with our piping. And look, this can take some practice, so don't fret if it takes a little bit of time for you to get the hang of it. So for these ones, I actually like to come in a 90-degree angle and just very slowly, following that line, carefully go around that guide that you've created. And when you get to the end, you want to overlap them just ever so slightly. And then around, and we can continue on. Now that your Paris-Brests are all piped out, you can grab yourself a little bit of water and just press down that part that is crossing over on your link. Don't worry if it's not perfect. I like to press in the middle as well, just to kind of join the two. And then you can go in with a fork and just continue those lines across. Now, having all those indentations is going to help with the baking because it creates more surface area. So less likely for our choux pastry to crack. Now to add some texture and some crunch, I'm going to be adding some nuts on there as well. So we have some finely diced hazelnuts and some flaked almonds. So we're going to do a little bit of both. And I like to do that immediately after I pipe them so they can stick. So once you have all your nuts stuck on there, we're going to add a little bit of confectioner's sugar. All right, and we can get these going in our preheated oven. So our oven is preheated and ready to load. I've got it preheated at 135 degrees, so let's get these guys in. So as you can see, we have our pastries in the oven now, and I've set my timer for 40 minutes. So that's going to be our first stage of baking. And at this stage, all we're looking to do is bake our choux pastry to really use that steam power to push a nice big hole and make it hollow in the center. So we're going to keep an eye on these. I like to check it every about 5 to 10 minutes just to see how they're going. Essentially within the first 40 minutes, we just want to bake them and we don't want to add too much color. We just want them to be cooked. We want to do this very, very slowly because it's kind of a race against the clock. We want to push as much of a hollow center into our choux buns before our egg replacer sets. So as soon as our egg replacer sets, that's when you might run into problems where it's creating cracks and you won't be able to get any more leavening power. So we're going to put this on for 40 minutes and I'm going to check back in 5 to keep an eye. So I've been keeping an eye on my choux buns and my Brest. It's been 10 minutes so far. I have seen some puff happening, but still no colorization, which is perfect. So at this stage, we're going to continue baking. I'm going to check it again at the 5-minute mark. We want to ensure that we're really not getting any colorization within the first 15 minutes. So if I do notice that it's starting to brown, I will turn the temperature on my oven down 5 degrees. But for now, everything's looking good. I'm going to continue baking and yeah, check on these again in about 5 minutes. So it's been another 5 minutes and everything is looking good. I can see lots of puff happening on both our Brest and the choux buns. They're looking good. So I'm going to leave these now for 10 minutes. I'm happy with the temperature that my oven is at. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it for another 10, check in. If it's okay, then I'll continue baking for the full 40 minutes and then evaluate after that. So I still have about 10 minutes left on my clock, but I'm really happy with how our buns are baking up. And I can see they've just started to develop some color. It's very, very pale at this stage, which is perfect. So what we're basically looking for by the end of around the 40 to 45 minute mark is for our choux buns to have a nice pale honey sort of color. So you know, we want them to be baked, but not a deep golden just yet. We just want kind of like a nice honey, pale brown sort of color. So we're going to continue baking this for another 10 minutes at the same temperature and check at that stage. So our 40 minutes are up. So now at this stage, we want to make sure that our buns have a nice golden honey color to them. And we're going to carefully open our door just a crack and release that steam just for about 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. Wait until that steam gets out. All right, now I'm going to shut the door. Get some more time on, and we're going to increase our temperature to 145 degrees Celsius. I'm going to put 40 minutes on the clock. We probably won't need that full amount of time. We're going to keep an eye on it. Fan if you have it, and if you do have a vent option on your oven, you want to open your vent as well. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on these guys and get some nice colorization on them. So we're getting some good colorization now. It's been about 15 minutes, so I want to just rotate the trays just to make sure that we are getting nice even coloring. So we have some nice colorization on our Brest. So I'm going to take these out now and pop them on a cooling rack to cool down completely before we cut them open and put our filling inside. So I'm just going to put these guys on some cooling racks, and I like to just put them straight onto the cooling racks. My trays are actually still quite warm, but I find it helps with just drying them out as well, just a little more. So I like to just put them on the cooling rack and then on top of my warm tray so we can cool them slowly.